Tell, Cockerel. He's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. Tell, Cockerel. Leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The predictions leak, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong?
Are we streaming yet? Is it still loading?
He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill.
Is there anything to play?
Tell, Cockerel. Jose gets himself around. Always talking Spurs, wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. The predictions league, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chilled, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chill, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tell Cockerel. It's a good morning from me, but it's a good evening for Chang. Oh, Chang was here. Chang's gone. I don't know what he's doing. What a start. December the 7th, Sunday. It's morning time here in England. I hope you are all well. Most of you, I hope, are smiling. We've had a good week amongst all the calmness and chaos. Tottenham have had a good week. We've played 2 matches since last week. One away, one at home yesterday. And we've picked up 4 points. It's been a really, really good week. Here he is. He's back again. Oh, my God. He's messing about already with me, but there we go. But it's been a really good week. Chang, for those of you that didn't know, Chang is celebrating a birthday. He's become a day younger, our Chang. Good evening, Chang. How are you? Let the world know how you are and how you spent your birthday, sir.
I'm doing very well here in Southeast Asia, Jose. Thank you so very much for having me back on Tell Cockerel. It's been quite some time since we've done Jose and Chang together on a Sunday morning. And thank you very much, everybody, for the birthday wishes. It's been a really rip-roaring last 24 hours. Starting off with the pre-match pump-up over on We Are Tottenham TV. I think it was noon yesterday when we were doing the pre-match pump up on Real Tottenham TV. And ever since then, I mean, it was, as a Spurs fan, to put it into perspective, that was possibly the best possible match day we could have hoped for. Woolwich losing the early kickoff, us winning, Chelsea dropping points, Liverpool also dropping points, City picking up points for them. That's good for them. They are now closing the gap to the top, to Woolwich, after their remarkable win. But I'm not going to go too much further because I know we have a lot of ground to cover, Jose. And come on, you Spurs, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend now that the holiday season is well underway. And looking forward to the rest of the show, Senor Garcia. Having said that, back to you, FA.
You've got Shems in the house, says, good morning, Mr. Bossman House. And the youngest looking old man birthday boy, Mr. Chimichanga Chang. Hope all are well today. And Mr. Chang is enjoying his birthday weekend. I think he just answered that he is. We have got Mr. Phil P with his woo. Hi, Phil, mate. I hope you are well. I'm going to explain a bit about yesterday. I was in the North Stand yesterday, Phil. But I came at the end of the game. I walked all the way from the North Stand on level 5, all the way from block 517. I walked all the level 5 back to 501, and then dropped down the stairs at 501, walked through into the South Stand, went looking for people after the game. Couldn't see no one after the game down, where by the stairs and the bar and all that. And because I couldn't see no one, I ended up leaving and making my way home. It would have been nice to say hello to a few people because I'm not sure whether I'll be going to the Liverpool game or not because I've not planned to go. But yeah, I didn't see anyone, so I shut off. But Phil, it would have been lovely to see your smiley face and your father, who would have probably had a smile on his face yesterday, and the rest of your gang, because you do go mob-handed. But it would have been nice to see you, because the one thing about you and your family is you're always smiling. Nita is here. She says, good morning, Jose and Chang. I hope you're both well. I'm listening in while doing the housework. Nice win for us yesterday. Well needed for a home game. Superb. Phil P says big up Jose. Big up Chang. Happy birthday, Chang. Nita is saying...
Mr. Philpy. Woo!
And then you've got Nita saying happy birthday and blessings to you, Chang. Phil says, sorry to have missed me. No. I missed you guys. You didn't miss me. I missed you guys. And then you've got Pages here. Good morning. I still think it's morning over in Holland. Yes, it is, because you're only an hour ahead, I think. So it's still good morning. Good morning, Paige. I hope you are well. She says, morning, peeps, and happy birthday, Mr. Chang. So there's another person wishing you happy birthday. Phil, when you say spare tickets, does that mean you've got more than one or more? I might have to see what I can do. Cause I'm not sure. It's a 5:30 kickoff. It's the last Saturday before Christmas, and I'm just thinking to myself, it could get messy going into London. But I will. I'll offline. I'll contact you because I didn't know whether you're aware, Phil. But I'd already, obviously, with being a One Hotspur member, I've bought my tickets. Because you buy them in advance. You buy them in threes. So I've got tickets. I didn't get tickets for Liverpool because they were sold out, but then they're back on sale. But then I thought I didn't get them for a reason. But I'm going to Sunderland on the 3rd or 4th, whatever. Then I'm going to West Ham because their tickets I'd already bought. But Phil, this person who's speaking at the moment now has a season ticket. My season ticket kicks in from the Manchester City game, so I got half a season ticket, and it now entitles me to a season ticket for next year if I wish. And I actually got my season ticket with Blaine. We went into the ballot together, and we've ended up with a ticket in 506. So I've now got a season ticket. So I'll be going to games more often. The only one that I'm missing at the moment is Liverpool, but I will have a chat with you. Paul G. Morning, Hazard, of course, happy birthday to one from Mr. Chat. Paul G. You have missed predictions, Paul. You have missed predictions. But Paul, you sit on 99 points. You're 1 point away from breaking that 100. If you won, Paul, because somebody else missed the predictions this week, if you won, there are still 3 games left that you can predict on. You only need a point to break into the 100 barrier. So if you want to predict, there's 2 games today and 1 tomorrow, Paul. If you want to do your predictions for them, I will happily accept your 3 predictions, mate. But yeah, Paul says, happy birthday to Mr. Chang as well. So, Mr. Chang, you're getting all the love today. Everybody is wishing Mr. Chang a very happy birthday. So, a very happy birthday again, Mr. Chang. No doubt a lot of people are just going to pop in and keep saying it and saying it and saying it, which is good. It's nice to have a nice crowd with us this morning. Right, we've got to start. I will say I'm not going to go back to last weekend. I wasn't around. I was out last weekend, so I missed everything that happened last weekend. So I'm only going to talk about, like we normally do, we talk about the week. So I'm going to start with a Newcastle draw. We've got a point at St James's, which is a positive after the weekend before.
Okay, so I just have something to say about this. It was a good comeback. We had good goals from Captain Kuti. 2 more goals from a centre back. I think that equals Van der Ven's record, whom he also scored away on our travels. I believe it was against Everton at Goodison. But that away draw against Newcastle was overshadowed by what I think is the single dodgiest VAR penalty call I have ever seen live. And yes, I did wake up at 5 a.m. on a Wednesday morning, I think it was, or it could be a Thursday morning. I'm not too sure when it was, Wednesday or Thursday. Whatever the referee, or rather whatever the officials saw, I have no idea how that can be given as a penalty. Yes, Ben Sankur had his back turned to the ball. He didn't have eyes on the ball. But if I were to be perfectly honest, he was the one that had his head stuck in a headlock, not the other way around. And I'm not sure how that can be construed or given as a penalty. But you know what? No point crying over spilled milk. It is what it is. We still come away with a credible point, despite having lost there. I think was it last month or the previous month, the 3rd round of the League Cup, where Newcastle also scored 2, and we didn't have anything in reply. So that's something to build upon. And lots to work upon. And I mean, what more can I say? Great fight back from the lads, but I was getting somewhat concerned really with our lack of shots on target in the first half. And it wasn't only that game, it was the Fulham game. We didn't muster a single shot on target at home last Saturday night. The same could be said, I believe it was midweek, was it? There was another game prior to that, and we didn't muster a single shot on target as well. So something has to give, and I'm so glad it did give yesterday. But before we go into yesterday's game, my final thoughts on the Newcastle game: hard-earned point compared to the home game against United. Wednesday night's game was definitely 1 point gain and not 2 points drop. If you were to compare that to the United game, in which the game also ended in a 2-all draw, lots to build upon as well. It's got to be said, but we build on, we march on, and that away form is still intact. I think we still have one of the better, if not the best, away forms in the entire league, despite the North London derby loss the previous weekend, and also the hard-earned point against Newcastle. But onwards and upwards. Back to you, Senior Garcia.
So, before I carry on with the comments on this, sorry, who you got here? Nita, yes, I did receive your predictions. Yeah, so I did get them in Nita. Phil, I'm in block 506 in the West Stand, is where I've got my season ticket for the time being. Tommy Skunks says, happy birthday, boy Chang. Changdu. Okay, so happy birthday to you from Tommy Skunks. I'm just reminding people that smash a like and subscribe. It's all free, you stingy gits. Got people watching and not doing the business. Wayne, good morning, Wayne. I hope you're well, sir. You're another one, Wayne, who missed the predictions this week. But if you'd like to do the 3 from today, like Paul has done beneath you, I can include 3 scores for you today if you want, Wayne. But Wayne says, good morning, Jose Chang and all in the chat. Hope you're all well. Good performance and result yesterday. Good to see us playing attacking football. Need to do it every game. And Paul G is now giving me his scores. And I will put them in a second. But I'm going to go back to, and Mr. Shears just popped in. Mr. Shears, superb, doesn't answer his phone at all when I call him. All of a sudden, they get a little bit of a victory today, and all of a sudden he comes out of the woodwork. Good evening, Mr. Shear. I hope you are well, sir. Yes, you're going to be crowing. I've made my comments clear. I did them in a chat the other day, and I will discuss these at the end of the show because this is about football. It's not about cricket at the moment. So, right, what I will say for me with the Newcastle draw, it's interesting because obviously I was at the game yesterday as well, and I've seen us go to St James's Park, and I've seen us play well. But sorry, not me personally being up there, but I've watched us play well at St James's Park and do a lot of the good stuff and walk away with absolutely nothing. So after last weekend and some of the games leading up to the Newcastle game, I think there was a lot within the fan base. There was a lot of trepidation about going to St James's Park. St James's Park, I won't say that we were fluid and that we were, front foot football. I felt that we played within ourselves, didn't overexert. We were really, really risk averse, should I say, and played within ourselves for quite a big chunk of the first half. I'd say probably for about half an hour to 35 minutes. And we only really opened up in the last 10 minutes of the first half. The second half showing was better than the first half showing at St James's. And es mi capitán. Es mi capitán. He's my captain. That's how we say it in Spanish. Es mi capitán. He's my captain. I heard some people turn around and say, or I've seen comments of people throughout the week saying that Romero's lost his head because he keeps going up front. When you're losing a game, right, and he gets thrown up there as an extra body, it's not done because he's captain and he thinks I'm just going to go up there. I think there's a plan to send him up there, right? And if we hadn't sent him up there, do you think somebody else would have got in the position that Romero got in for that header to score that first goal? I'm not sure, because Richie was hanging at the back post when Kudus put that ball in, because the ball went near post, didn't it? And Romero beat Dan Burn to it with a great header. Brilliant finish. And then obviously, so he's gone up there, it was by design, and the second goal came from a corner. So, it's not that he's lost his head and he went up front. The second goal came from a corner. And, okay, he didn't catch it cleanly, but the intent was there to do it. And it was some goal to a centre-half scoring an overhead kick. So it appears that we've got some very, very, very... we've got some quality centre-halves who can do that. So I don't know whether people have seen the overhead kick from Vuskovic this season. He's done an overhead kick goal this season as well. You've got Romero, who's done an overhead goal, scored an overhead goal kick this season. But then, if you remember rightly, in the Europa League Cup final, we had an overhead clearance from Mickey van der Ven. So we have got some centre halves who can really flex, are really flexible and can get and do cartwheels and overhead kicks. And I'm grateful for it. So as I said, for me to get the 2-2 draw at Newcastle, we weren't the better team. I don't think any supporter who's worth an ounce of salt that is without being too biased on their side, in reality is we got away with a point there. Like Chang said, we gained a point at Newcastle. We were second best, not by a million miles, I would say, because I don't think Newcastle were brilliant either, but they were the better side. We managed to get the 2 goals in that got us the victory. If I remember rightly, one of the goals that Newcastle got was dubious, weren't it? Were they given a penalty or something? Yeah, they were given that dubious penalty, which should never have been a penalty. The Benton Core and Dan Burnt angle, that's the one. They were on Strictly Come Dancing chain. They were doing a dance together. They got very close, um, but it should
I
never.
honestly thought that they were wrestling.
Did you? But it should never have been a penalty in my eyes. So at the end of the day, um, yeah, we take it. It was positive. Like I said, Newcastle draw for me was a positive. It's a point away somewhere we've been our graveyard in the last few seasons. We haven't done well. So, yeah, I was happy with that score. And as I said, Es mi capitan scored them 2 goals. So let's catch up some of the comments that we've got. Here we go. David Shear, like I said, I knew he'd appear. Here he is. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. 5-0, 5-0. Here we go, here we go. Hi ho, Chang, happy birthday, Cobber. Who else we got here? We've got Wayne Bonner's put his scores in. I'll do Wayne's and I'll do Paul's in a minute. Wayne was saying that on Tuesday, we played Tuesday, didn't we? The turnaround was really quick. Says, I caught updates of Newcastle game on the radio. Sounds like we did well. Colin B, good morning, Colin. I hope you are well, sir. Good morning to Jose and Mr. Chang. Good morning, Colin B. Chris Peters is saying good morning to us both as well. Good morning, Chris, sir. I hope you are well. Wayne then says, Gray had a good game yesterday. We haven't even discussed yesterday yet, Wayne. Didn't put himself in the spotlight. Kept it simple with passing and dropping back to help in defence. Archer says, good morning, Jose and Chang. 4 points from 6. A pleasing return from those fixtures, says Archer. I got more than that, Archer, in the first 6. And Colin is saying to you, happy 21st, Mr. Chang, mate.
Mr. Colin Blackshaw, try doubling up that figure, and that's closer to my current and actual age.
And Wayne Bonner flexing his 11-month member chat. Thank you for your support, Wayne. And he says, happy 21st birthday, Chang. I told you, everyone was going to say happy birthday to you, Chang, and you are the youngest man in the world. So where we go up in years, you go down in years. So happy 21st. So next year we will be looking forward to your 20th. Right. So that was Wednesday out of the way. And then a win at home yesterday, Chang. 4 points in a week. What were your takes on yesterday, Chang?
Before I go into the match proper, I'd like to bring up a little incident that happened towards the end of the pre-match pump-up over on Tottenham TV. The early kickoff between Villa and Woolwich was still tied at 1 apiece. We had already seen the lineups. We were going into, I believe it was the score predictions. And I was on target for all 3 points with my 1-0 prediction. I was just about to give my prediction when suddenly the entire chat and also Miss Kate and Mr. Ashmatic erupted in simultaneous joyous celebration when I think it was I can't even pronounce his name. Buendia, I think it's Buendia.
Emiliano
That's
Buendia.
correct. Yes. Buendia got the 94th minute winner in injury time, what was deemed to be the last kick of the game. It was a very scrappy goalmouth scramble, but he managed to score. And there goes my 3 points. There goes my 1-0 prediction, but I couldn't care less. Woolwich losing the early kickoff just gave me an extra spring in my step. I was so pumped up for the match, and I very, very distinctively mentioned that I would very much like to see Javi Simons score his first goal in Lily White. That has been a long, long time coming. We have seen Kolo Muani score for us in the Champions League twice as well against his parent club PSG. I was also expecting him, or rather, I was predicting that he will get our second goal yesterday afternoon. But if Richarlison gets it, that's that. And when the game kicked off, you could feel it was different. We were active, we were pushing, we were trying, we were creating, we were running, we were backtracking, we were winning duels. Something had to give. And come of the man, come of the hour, come of the man. Xavi Simons, what a beautiful lofted pass coming in from the right wing. Richarlison very happily gobbled that up. That put us 1-0 ahead. I thought we were good for a 2-0 before Xavi Simons got his first ever goal in Lily White from Kolo Muani. I believe it was a corner. It was a corner routine. The ball was being headed around, and when it fell kindly to Kolo Muani, he somehow headed straight at the Brentford goalkeeper. Uh, but we still had the momentum, and then Xavi Simons picked the ball up from the edge of the center circle, from just inside our half, ran pretty much the entire length of the Brentford half, and he scored what I think was a delightful solo goal, a goal that in which he picked up possession himself from the edge of the center circle. And yeah, it's good to see the fans cheering and clapping the players off in the second half for a change, rather than rather than getting booed. That would be my first half analysis. Before we do go into the second half, back to you, Jose, for your own analysis of that first half from what you witnessed there inside the stadium.
Right, what I'm going to say to start off with, right, the first thing I'm going to say is that I was in the North Stand yesterday. It's my first time in the North Stand. So now I've done all four corners of the ground. I've spent most of my time this season in the South Stand, but I've now been in the East Stand, the West Stand, and the North Stand. The one thing I'm going to say to people straight away is that the crowd from the very start, right, were behind the team, right? So I need to say that straight away. The crowd from the very start were behind the team. It's interesting because it came to about 2:45, and in all the games I've been to this season, and I've only missed two games so is all I've missed this season. And so I've been there for 85-90% of the games. Came to 2:45, so or it doesn't matter the time, 15 minutes before kickoff, and it's the most empty I've seen the stadium. However, at the point of kickoff, that stadium was full. I think we had a 60,729. So we only ever get 62,000 for the Arsenal and the Chelsea games and stuff like that. So it looked packed, absolutely packed. I'm not sure about Brentford. I was above and to the side of the away support, so I couldn't really see, because when you're in the east or the west stand or you're in the south stand, you can see the away support. I think Brentford had the bottom tier, but I'm not going to turn around and say that I felt that. In other games, I've seen more away support, should I say. So it could well be that the number not reaching the 61,000 could have been because of the away support rather than anything else. But anyway, regardless of that, 15 minutes before the game, I thought, bloody hell, the stadium's empty, right? But once the game, once we got to kick-off time, the stadium was packed, and the whole of the stadium supported the team, right? So when I mean supported the team, I'm talking about if people know my channel because you're here. Anyway, I do lots of shorts from the match for when I'm there, and I did a short for when they announced the lineups of the teams. Chang, funny enough, has talked about the Moani chants. I got that live because when they're doing corners, I always film the corners, and if they come to nothing, I delete them. If something happens from the corner, like it did with the Moani, I then keep them and upload them. So I've actually uploaded that footage live as it happened, because But then, yeah, as I said, from the minute that they announced the team lineups at the start of the game, the crowd were behind all the players, and the person who got a really, really, really good shout was Vicario. Obviously, Vicario's number, he's the first person that's read out on the team sheet, but the cheer for Vicario, because lately a lot of has been said about booing Vicario or dissing Vicario. Well, listen, the crowd were right behind Vicario when his name was read out. They were right behind the whole team when the team was read out. Then, after that, the reading the team lineups out and that, you then go to, when the Spurs go marching in with the trumpeter. Lovely rendition of that. Stadium all up for it. All sung away. During the game, yeah, a lot of the singing starts in the South Stand. There's no doubt about it. A lot of the singing starts in the South Stand, but you feel it coming through the East and West. And when you're in the South Stand, you think the North Stand doesn't sing. The North Stand does sing. It's not as loud as the South Stand, but it does sing as well. And yesterday, I felt that the singing, the chanting, the cheering, and that came from all four corners of the ground, and it was really positive. I felt that when I went to Man U, I felt the crowd were positive. But I felt the crowd were even more positive yesterday. So yesterday, the crowd being positive, the team performing the way they did positively, it does go hand in hand. I will say that there was still the grumbles within people within where I was sitting. You still had some people grumbling. So when we get the ball, right? When we get the ball and we pass it backwards, you still had, oh no, we've passed it backwards. Or you had people the other side of the coin where people say, go on then, pass it backwards. But notably, if I look, I mean, Chancellor's talking about the first half, and he's asked me to talk about the first half and split the first and the second. I'm not going to split it, Chang. I'm going to talk about what I saw. It's interesting because when you're at the game, so obviously people know the stadium. In the North Stand, I'm looking right down the pitch. So I'm not looking from the side, I'm looking from length view. So you can actually see absolutely everything. You can see the patterns of play and absolutely everything there. The notable things for me yesterday were, I've been saying that Destiny Udogie provides balance playing on the left-hand side. Yeah, we look lopsided because Jed always cuts in. Yeah? And that has been the case. I'm not wrong. I've been to the games and this is exactly what happens. And I still believe that Udogie, Jed Spencer's not a bad footballer. He's a really good player, but the balance is provided by Destiny Udogie. Yesterday, for the first time this season, Jed Spence for me was an absolute Mariah. Jed Spence attacked, and attacked. There wasn't come inside. There wasn't don't look for the wide player. Jed Spence was over. It's the first time I've seen Tottenham play like that all season at home, because I've not been to away games. But they attacked, and Jed Spence attacked. It was purpose. Everything he did, there was a purpose to it, and it was really impressive to see. I mean, the highlights will show you that Jed Spence, I think, got through into their near enough with their one-on-one with the goalkeeper twice in the game. So that was really impressive, and that was something to be seen. Mi Capitan. He might be a teammate of Richarlison, but the one thing I'm going to tell you now is he doesn't like Brazilians. Romero does not take kindly to Brazilians. God, the amount of buffeting he gave Thiago yesterday. Oh, it wasn't just a tackle he got booked for, but every time they went near the ball, he was going in and he was going boom. He was smashing Thiago all the time. I thought Romero did well. People are going to say he was rash, but Thiago, for people that don't understand, Thiago's the second top goal scorer in the league. So Thiago's coming to us with big boys boots to fill. And yeah, cool. Mr. Esmi Capitan, he really tried to put Thiago in his place. Van der Ven had a solid game. Pedro Porro, I think he was caught out once by a Kevin Sade run. So what people do is they straighten Porro up and then kick the ball past him and run, and they get past him. And I think that happened once with Sade. And I don't know, I can't remember who got a card for it, but Porro ended up slowing him down. But Porro had a decent game. Porro overlapped Kudos. So it's the first time that I've seen from the games that I've gone to that our fullbacks have overlapped and added a further dimension to us in the attack, which I've not seen all season. In midfield, right, Archie Gray had an absolute stormer, stonking stormer. Archie Gray played so well yesterday. Archie Gray won duels, got the ball, passed it off, made runs, created space. Archie Gray was an absolute animal yesterday and played well. And it's no coincidence that the 2 victories we've had at home in the Premiership this season, Archie Gray has started both games. Because the first game I went to this season was Burnley when we won 3-0, and Archie Gray started in the midfield in that game as well. Archie Gray stood out head and shoulders yesterday. I felt that Bentancur was just neat and tidy. That was it. Just Bentancur is what Bentancur does. What Bentancur does, just neat and tidy, and it allowed the others to go and play football. Xavi Simons, new lease of life. Xavi Simons yesterday, he was strong in the tackle. I mean, his goal was because he tackled. His goal came from a mistake that he made in a tackle, and then in the same action, a tackle that he won back. And it was like the parting of the waves, because they attacked. They scored in the north stand end. So you saw him win the ball in the field, and you saw Xavi run, and you were just sort of stood up and just went, "Go on, go on, go on." Yeah, he's run right through, and it's the other players taking players away. So when you watch it, you see that Richarlison. If I'm looking at it from and Xavi's coming towards me, Richarlison pulled out towards the right and took his centre half with him. Kudos pulled out to the left and took the I think it was I can't remember, Aya with him, and it seemed to be that there was a big part in there. And it's only when he had got about 5 to 10 yards away from the penalty box that they've realised, oh my God, we've got to close him down. So when Xavi finally took his shot, you saw that there was about 4 Brentford players around him, really close proximity, because they realised, because the Tottenham players had taken him away, the parting had happened, and then they realised, oh, he's not for closing down. That all of a sudden there's about 4 players that converged on Xavi when he put the ball away. Kudos is an absolute monster. I think it was Aya that was marking him in the first half, and Aya is about 6'3", 6'4", towered over Mohamed Kudos. Every time the ball came to Kudos would control it on his chest, with his back with a defender on his backside. He'd take it on his chest, bring the ball down, pass it, or he'd move along and get away from a player. In the second half, they substituted him and they brought Rico Henry on. Rico Henry seemed to provide a bit more physicality for them in marking Kudos. And I think Rico probably won the first 2 challenges when the ball went out to Kudos. But Kudos soon wised up about it, and after that, Henry didn't get a sniff against Kudos. Kudos smashed Henry every single time. Kudos was actually using his body before the ball got to him to smash Rico Henry off the ball, and then when the ball comes to him, Rico Henry's not on his back, so to speak. So he was impressive yesterday. And Richarlison, right? Richarlison, I don't know. Richie scored our goal. Richie ran. Richie ran non-stop yesterday. Again, ran non-stop. But you can't say that Richarlison's Teflon, because the ball goes up to him and it don't stick. It just doesn't stick. But he ran his absolute socks off yesterday. Yesterday, for people that were at the stadium, and obviously people that watched it at home through whatever means necessary to watch the game, people must have been nothing but impressed. People were saying Brentford are a bogey team, Brentford are this, Brentford are that. right? You can only play the team that's put in front of you. And Tottenham certainly did that yesterday. Was it a polished performance? No. There's still improvements that can be made. You can't say that was 100% performance, because I felt that sometimes they got at us. I didn't think that they were dangerous, but they did get us sometimes, and that's because they found holes in our midfield, or that one of our players at the back was out of position, which invariably was more the fullbacks, because the fullbacks had pushed up. But for an absolute week of football, it is so good this week being a Tottenham supporter and not having all the negativity that has been surrounding Tottenham for the last few weeks. Before I hand you back, let me just read out some comments. You've got Archer says, I had Xavi on my FPL bench as I wasn't sure he would start and he'd been struggling. Played well yesterday. Graham, good morning, Graham. Reflecting his 17-month membership chat. Graham, firstly and more importantly, thank you very much for your support. I hope you and the family are well. He says, good morning, gents. Hope you are well. We are. We're just discussing what's happened for Tottenham this week, mate. Marianne's here. Good morning, Marianne. It's been a while. Marianne says, morning, Jose, Chang, and all in the chat. Happy birthday, Chang. Chang, you're getting all the love in the world here, mate. Wayne Bonner has come in with some comments. Says Spence had a great game yesterday. He was non-stop moving, constantly running up and down. He was unlucky not to score. Then he says, I like Gray. He impressed me last season when he stepped being chucked into defence. I'd start Gray over Bergvall all day long. I've got a comment to make afterwards about that, but after Chang has spoken, Wayne Bonham says Richie looked absolutely shattered in the last 10 minutes, but carried on with his job, played well. Another person done well yesterday, but didn't do all the really nicey stuff, but did all the ugly stuff, was Moani. Nita says Bergvall and Gray need to be in a team on a regular basis if we are putting long-term plans in place. I believe enough players will be shipped out come the summer. Sorry, Chang, I went on to talk about some of my thoughts. You were talking about the first half, so what are your thoughts then on the second half, or anything I've said?
I think Richarlison did put in a good shift in the first half, to add to what you said, and to see him rewarded with his opener. Let's just say that I am very glad that he chose to keep his shirt on this time rather than to remove his shirt after scoring at home in a league game. So that in part might have helped us with the victory. Richarlison not removing his shirt after scoring at home in a league proper, and from that first half, you were just expecting more of the same. And this is where I will give my second half review. I honestly thought that Kudus was well within his rights to celebrate his goal until it was ruled out. And the one image that really stood out was him holding that stool. He had that stool in his hand, ready to do his celebration, and he ended up putting that stool on his head. That was a really, really fun. Wait a minute, let me see if I can find that. I actually got that shot. And I posted it in pretty much every single WhatsApp group I could find. Let's see. Yep, here it is. So this is the one. Let me see. I'm not sure if anyone can see this on my. Hang on. Just give me a second to enlarge this. There we go. This is the shot, everybody. This is the shot that I was talking about. Him with the stool ready to celebrate, and the offside call goes up, and he's standing there bemused. So that was something something to add to his repertoire. Mohamed Kudus being called off, or rather his celebrations prematurely called off, and the search for our third goal continued after that. Pepe Matassar had a glorious chance to get that third, with I think only 2 or 3 yards out away from the goalkeeper. Unfortunately, his shot was gobbled up by the goalkeeper, and that was, I think, the final big chance that we had. Before that Kudus goal that was ruled out, I believe Jet Spence, there was a sort of a rebound for him that fell very kindly. Unfortunately, he couldn't take his chance, and that chance went begging as well. And the score remained at 2-0 till the end of the final whistle. Good to see the likes of, I think it was Tell or Odabeer, or maybe even both of them. Both of them got minutes under their belts. I believe it could be rotation for Slavia Praha in midweek, which I think we might have some time to cover before the end of the show. So I'll keep that for later. But all in all, a good day's work. I got my 2-0 prediction correct. I also got my Xavi Simon's first ever Spurs goal prediction correct. And can't wait to see how the rest of match week 14 unfolds. We have big games coming up later tonight as the second half of match week 14 takes place. Currently, before the Sunday fixtures take place, I'm just going to read out our current position. We are currently sitting ninth. We are sitting ninth. Thankfully for us, Liverpool dropping points at the death yesterday against Leeds United, who are flying high. Leeds United are absolutely flying high with the 3-1 thrashing of Chelsea, and then the very credible 3-all draw against Liverpool, which has prompted some very startling and shocking comments by Mo Salah. Openly speaking out against Arne Slot. I'm not going to cover that. This isn't a Liverpool channel, but that will be something to keep an eye out. But we are currently sitting ninth, 1 point behind eighth place Liverpool, and assuming Brighton don't win, we will maintain ninth. The same could be said about United, whom are going to be playing later. I think on Monday nights, United are playing on Monday night. But let's just enjoy our current ninth position. I read a statistic somewhere that the last league win that we got was way back in October. We haven't won a single league game all November. And the last home league win, I think, went all the way back in August, something like August or September. That might be the 3-0 opener against Burnley on the opening weekend of the new season. So let's just build on this home form. We really need to pick up points now as we go into the festive season before the turn of the year. Hopefully, after midweek, after Slavia Praha, we have a few other games to look forward to. But I'm not going to comment on anything else other than Slavia Praha. Nottingham Forest can wait. Sean Dyche and our trip to Nottingham Forest can wait for next time. But until then, looking forward to midweek where Sonny will then make his much awaited return to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to address the home faithful before kickoff. Having said that, back to you, Senor Garcia.
People, smash that like button and subscribe. It's free. Can't get the one thing is that you can all subscribe and you can all hit the like button for us. So Archer says, I thought I'd seen everything in football until I saw Kudus holding the stool over his head. Wayne Bonner says, good goal by Kudus. Shame it was offside. So it's interesting because when I watched the highlights from Match of the Day yesterday, so being at the game yesterday, the goal went in and we went absolutely mad. The goal's gone in at the south stand end. I'm at the north stand. We've seen the goal go in. We've all gone mad, right? And then it was quickly ruled out for offside. And then on the big screen, it says VAR's checking. You don't get told nothing in the stadium. You just wait, and then it comes up says Xavi Simmons was offside. So I have not seen that back because yesterday I watched Match of the Day last night, and Match of the Day didn't show that. Also, Match of the Day never showed. I was so much looking forward to seeing Romero's challenge on Thiago because initially people were saying, "Oh God, he's going to get a red," but he got given the yellow card. But when I got home yesterday and last night, I was watching Match of the Day thinking I can then see these things that are not then repeated in the stadium. You can see them when you get home. They didn't show none of them. So, but what I will say about the game before we move on to and you're quite right. We'll talk about Slavia in a minute. There's no point talking about Forest because we've got a show next weekend because we don't play Forest till after we've had our show. So we'll talk about Forest next weekend. And obviously we'll talk about the Slavia game as well. But the one thing I've noticed, Chang, right, is if I look at the lineup that's played in every game that I've been to this season, right, it's quite clear that Thomas Frank is still tinkering and tailoring, trying to find out the methods that are going to work and stuff for him. Because we had earlier on the season, after the Burnley game, right? Because in the Burnley game there wasn't the double pivot of Paulinho and Bentancur. But after that game, it soon became the double pivot was the problem, is what the fans were saying. That double pivot has now been disbanded, if you like, in the last month or so, right? Where you saw some other players, i.e., you might have seen Odebert starting games. Well, in the last month, Odebert hasn't really started games. Because Moani wasn't playing, he's preferred Moani now to Odebert. So he's tinkered with the team. The only staple, if you like, is that the goalkeeper and the four defenders, or three of the four defenders, select themselves every week, right? Obviously, with Doggy being injured, the back five are going to select themselves. And then after that, Thomas Frank is changing the three in the midfield and the three up front because he doesn't really know, and he's trying to find the right formula. And I noticed that yesterday. I noticed it from looking at the lineup and then watching the team. I see myself, God, we played different. But what I saw yesterday is what I would like to see going forward. I want to see my fullbacks overlapping. And for me, that was a crucial part of our game yesterday. I still feel that as a side, and this is going to sound weird, but I think as a side, the way Thomas Frank sets us up to play is that he wants all the action and all the goals to come from flanks, from wide play, right? Not that we cross the ball in the box and that all the time, but he wants it to come from wide play. The pass down the line to Xavi, and Xavi's put it in for Richarlison, is probably off the playbook from training during the week, that goal. And what I'm crying out for, what I want to see more of, I want to see more creativity and us break up play and not just rely on the flanks, but rely on going down the middle as well. And it's funny saying that because Xavi's goal came from going down the middle. All right, he made the goal himself and that. It wasn't a through ball, it wasn't a pass. But, you know, at the end of the day, we need to mix it up. We need to be able to attack wide and attack through the middle and you know, play through the lines. And I want to see us do more of that. But in saying that, yesterday, for me, it was good. It was good yesterday, going to a game, like I said, going to a game yesterday. Social media is not sometimes a nice place. And sometimes it's not representative of what's actually going on. Because if you're at the stadium, the vibe that you get at the stadium, and when you speak to people that are not on social media at the stadium, the responses you get are far different to when you look at social media or when you discuss with certain people within the social media sphere, so to speak. But yeah, for me, positive, really happy with yesterday. I will say, and I'm going to repeat this, I said it at the start of the show, Jay, the crowd were behind the team. And as I said, when they were reading out the announcing the lineups, the biggest cheer went to Vicario. So they were behind the team. That wasn't the booing that you get and stuff like that. The crowd were behind the team. All four corners were behind the team, which was actually impressive. But yes, you are right, Chang. We move on. You started talking about some of it, and I know it's something close to your heart because it's down your neck of the woods. But what comes next is Slavia at home in the Champions League. So, what's the importance of this game, Chang? What's happening at this game? You started alluding to some of this earlier. Tell the crowd.
So yeah, I mean, apart from Sony's much-awaited return, I think we need to get back to winning ways because as much as I am delighted to see us score three away on our travels against PSG, the goals that we shipped in that game, I think, were rather poor goals to give away to PSG, and we have to right some wrongs. If we can even get back-to-back clean sheets in consecutive games in a matter of days. To just follow up from yesterday's clean sheet against Brentford, I think that would do the squad's morale a world of a good. And again, I would like to repeat something which I said yesterday during the pre-match pump-up over on Tottenham TV. As much as I am all for our centre backs scoring goals, I would still rather they stick to their primary task or their objective, game in, game out, which is to keep clean sheets if at all possible. And I would love nothing more than to have another clean sheet, regardless if it's going to be Kevin Danso marshalling the defense from the beginning, regardless if Ben Davis, whom I thought was a very surprise name to see on the bench yesterday afternoon, if he's going to be starting on Wednesday night. Or is it Tuesday night? I can't remember which one. But if it's going to be starting in midweek against Slavia Praha, then I think it's important for them to not let the defensive performance dip too much compared to yesterday. So yeah, like what I mentioned earlier, we have to build upon yesterday. That clean sheet that we kept against Brentford, it should be seen as a springboard, a platform for us to build on a solid defensive display for the remainder of the season, not just for the rest of the month. And as far as the attacking options go, well, it's anyone's guess right now who's going to be starting because I thought, and this is what I saw on the tally anyway, from what I saw on the tally, it looked like we were playing 4-4-2, although I think Richarlison might have drifted out wide to the left, which is why he was able to cut in for that opening goal. But if, and this is a big if we were indeed playing 4-4-2 and Richarlison and Kolo Muani were acting as our centre forwards yesterday afternoon, then I think it will only make sense if the likes of Brendan Johnson, Matthias Tell, and Odebeer are given starts on midweek. And I really, really do hope that all this chopping and changing in terms of squad rotation doesn't hamper our momentum going forward. I will keep my predictions for later, right towards the end of the show. But I just want more of the same, more of the same from against Brentford, more of the same from our away trip to Paris against PSG, and absolutely looking forward to Sonny making his much-awaited return to address the home fans before kickoff. Having said that, back to you, Senor Garcia.
Right, so Slavia, we're playing on Tuesday, so the fixture list hasn't been very kind to us because we played 8 o'clock Saturday evening against Fulham. Then we played 8 o'clock Tuesday evening against Newcastle. We 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, but we're back to Tuesday 8 o'clock in the evening. So the turnaround times between the midweek games and the weekend game has been 72 hours. Then we get a break because after this we don't play until next Sunday. But the games are coming thick and fast. Personally, and I'm not a medic. I wish I were because I'd probably do a better job. But I'm not a medic, and I'm not one of these sports scientists. But if I wasn't one of these and I could just pick the players on ability alone, I would probably start with the same lineup that started the game yesterday against Slavia. It's important for me that we pick up a win against Slavia because a win takes us on to 11 points with 2 games to go. If everyone above you didn't do well, them 11 points would take you into the top 8. I think somebody in the top 8 currently, the team in 8th, the teams in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th all sit on 10 points. Tottenham sit on 8, so 3 points would take us up to 11. I'm not saying that Tottenham will finish in the top 8, but you want to finish as far up as possible to try and get a more favourable draw. So therefore, it's important that we do turn up and get 3 points against Slavia. 3 points is a must. It's the first thing that I'm looking for is 3 points. Secondly, though, for me, it's all about getting the win. Secondly, and normally I would turn around and say, yeah, but you want the performance to continue. You want the performance to be good and positive and in the right direction. Yeah, you do. But at this stage, in this competition, you just need to get points because points is what makes prizes, is the points. So it's an important game. Then, yes, you have a young man coming into town on London town at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Tuesday night. It's interesting because I showed his video in before the game started. Him saying that he left and he hasn't said a proper goodbye, but he will be back under the lights on Tuesday night for the Champions League game. So it'll be good for Sonny to come and say goodbye to the fans. It'll be good for the fans to say goodbye to Sonny. And it'd be good to see Sonny smiling, both because of the fans, both because he's seen his teammates, but give a win for Sonny to smile with as well. So that'd be good. So for me, Slavia has got a whole load of... Every game, it doesn't matter what competition you're playing. Every game has ramifications. And this one does as well. We just need to go out there and get the victory against Slavia. Tommy says, I hate Kudos cheer celebration. It's so shit, just in my opinion. Fair enough. So yeah, Slavia Prague, Chan. Slavia Prague next. And then after that, we move on to next weekend. But we'll have a show next weekend before we discuss the Newcastle, Nottingham Forest game next weekend. But Chang, we are predominantly Tottenham, but the bio of the channel does say we discuss all football. And Chang, you did say this earlier, so I'm going to discuss it, right? So if people bear with me, this is what Chang was referring to. So an interview was done with Salah, right? And these are the questions asked. What were you thinking sat on the bench? Salah's response was, I don't know what to say. It's funny, but I couldn't believe it. It is a really disappointing result for us as a team because we expect to win a game like that. We managed to score 2 goals in the beginning and the game was going in our direction, but we conceded silly goals. I'm not attacking my teammates because I was on the bench, but we conceded silly goals as we did before. We just have to try and keep a clean sheet and win games. He was then asked, what couldn't you believe? His response was that I'm sitting on the bench for 90 minutes, the 3rd time on the bench. I think for the first time in my career, I'm very, very disappointed, to be fair. I've done so much for this club down the years, and especially last season. Now I'm sitting on the bench, I don't know why. It seems like the club has thrown me under the bus. That's how I'm feeling. I think it's very clear that someone wanted me to get all of the blame. I got a lot of promises in the summer, and so far I am on the bench for 3 games, so I can't say that they keep their promise. I said many times before that I had a good relationship with the manager, and that all of a sudden we don't have any relationship. I don't know why, but it seems to me how I see it, that someone doesn't want me in the club. This club, I will always support it. My kids will always support it. I love the club so much. I will always do. I called my mum yesterday. You guys didn't know if I would start or not, but I knew. Yesterday I said to them, come the Brighton game, I don't know if I'm going to play or not, but I'm going to enjoy it. In my head, I'm now going to enjoy the game because I don't know what's going to happen now. I will be in Anfield to say goodbye to the fans and go to the Africa Cup of Nations. I don't know what's going to happen when I am there. He was then asked, what do you do with the situation now? His response was, it's not acceptable for me. I don't know why this happened to me. I don't get it. I think if I was somewhere else, every club would protect its player. How I see it now is like you throw Mo under the bus because he is the problem in the team now. But I don't think I am the problem. I have done so much for this club. The respect I want to get, I don't have to go every day fighting for my position because I earned it. I'm not bigger than anyone, but I earned my position. It's football. It's what it is. He was then asked on the back of this, have you played your last game for Liverpool? His response was, in football you never know. I don't accept the situation. I have done so much for this club. How frustrated are you? His response was, with respect, I love everyone. I love Haaland. I will talk about him. I am the current top goal scorer in the Premier League. He is not yet. He is going to win it, hopefully, and that's fine for him. I love him, and he knows that. I am a top goal scorer, best player, winning the league in such style, but I am the one who has to defend himself in front of the media and the fans. He then asked, does this hurt you more? He says, absolutely. After what I've done for the club, it really hurts. You can imagine, really, after going from the home to the club, and you don't know if you're starting. I know the club too well. I've been here many years. Tomorrow, Carragher is going to go for me again and again, and that's fine. He's then asked about Saudi interest. He says, I don't want to answer this question because the club is going to take me in a different direction. Is the situation impossible now to solve? His response was, I cannot say it's impossible, but from what I feel, I have done so much for the club. I love the fans and the club so much, but I don't know what's going to happen next. So, is this doubly frustrating that you didn't even come on? His response was, I have been at this club scoring more than anyone in this generation since I came to the Premier League. I don't think anyone has scored more goals and made more assists than me in the whole Premier League. If I was somewhere else, everybody would go to the media and defend the players. I am the only one in this situation. I remember a while ago, Harry Kane was not scoring for 10 games. Everyone in the media was like, oh, Harry will score for sure. When it comes to Mo, everyone's like, he needs to be on the bench. I'm sorry, Harry. When you say about someone wanting you out, who? And his response was, I don't know, I really don't know. Sporting director? No. Don't put words in my mouth from the situation as I see it. Has anyone sort of communicated and explained the situation to you? Have you actually asked for that? He said, I did, but I don't see any explanation. Like I knew yesterday that I was not going to play, and that's it. So take it and swallow it and go home. Then he was asked, were you personally told you were going to be played by Arnie? Yeah, he told me yesterday, and I had a meeting with him. Did you let your feelings be known that you were disappointed? He says, he knows my feeling. Do you regret signing that contract? His response was, imagine how bad that I have to answer it honestly. That hurts. Even the question hurts. This club signing for this club, I will never regret it. I thought I'm going to renew here and end my career here. But this is not according to the plan. So I'm not regretting signing for the club for sure. Then the reporter said to him, you're one of the greatest players in Liverpool's history. Can you believe it might end like this? His response was, somehow it will end, but the thing in my head is like, why should it end this way? Because I am too fit. Just 5 months ago, I was just winning every individual award. So why should it go in this direction? I'm sorry everybody in the team is not informed yet. I'm the one who has to defend himself now.
You still there, Jose? I think he might have dropped out. It looks like. Yep, I think Jose. Yep, yeah, there he goes. So I'm just gonna carry on from where Jose left off. All in all, I think those comments by Salah were somewhat uncalled for, especially talking about his treatment, or rather those empty promises, or the promises that were broken. And if he wants to say that his relationship with Arne Slot has been damaged somewhat, then someone has to do something about it to see that something comes of it, or rather something is resolved amicably, because this isn't something that this isn't something that they should be harping on, or rather they should be resting on this. Not that I'm oh, there you are. You're back again. You're back again, Jose.
Sorry about
You
that.
dropped out earlier.
I know. I don't know what happened there, but I've nearly finished. Sorry, and I'll come right. So the last couple of questions were: has the relationship broken down? He said, "Yeah, there's no relationship between us. It was a very good relationship. Now all of a sudden there is no relationship. Has something changed behind the scenes?" And he says, "You guys know better than me. I don't know." And the last question was, "Do you feel let down from the teammates as well?" He said, "No, no, no. These guys, they know how much I love them. They know how much I support them, even inside before the game and after the game. I'm an experienced player. I've been in their position. I always support them. I always give them experience. But no, the players, they're not connected to the situation. Even they support me so much. So there's just much love between us and the players. Respect." That is the interview. I don't know whether you heard the whole interview, but that is the interview, Chang. So not only you, Chang, what are your thoughts? But people in the chat, what are your thoughts as well about the Salah situation?
So I did mention this earlier when your line drops, in which I feel that some of his comments were uncalled for. Yes, he can say whatever he wants behind closed doors, or maybe even to his immediate superiors, the board of directors or the management. But to come out like this to uh, pretty much say that he's being treated very unfairly, that he's left to, so to speak, rot on the bench. I think that really paints a very negative image as to how the club is run, as to how he's being treated. And if anything, I think it would actually reflect poorly on him. But I mean, I'm not in his shoes. I've never been in a position where I've been left out in the cold, not given any minutes, to not even be given the opportunity to try and turn things around. You could see that everything that he said comes from uh, a right place, or rather, it comes from a place of love, of respect, of gratitude for everything that the club has done for him thus far. But to then suddenly come out to say that promises were broken, or rather promises were not kept, I think that is something that should not ever see the light of day, unless things take a really bad turn for the worse, and it goes to tribunal or even goes to court, where he's not given his dues, and to then come out and further add that there is no relationship anymore with the current manager Slot. I think that would be the nail in the coffin. That would be the nail in the coffin, somewhat, for either one of them. If that is to be his last time that he's ever going to be able to play for Liverpool before the AFCON, then he will live as a legend. But the way he is being treated, I think something is wrong somewhere for him to have to come out to say that. Put it this way, I'm not going to.
Your microphone's gone. Your microphone.
Right now, but having said that, back to you, yeah.
Your microphone's kind of dropped off a bit. I don't know what's happened, but
Yeah, I think my volume's dropped off a bit as well. I'm trying.
that's it. Yeah,
Let
you're
me
back.
try to.
Yeah, okay.
Let me try to get my volume back up.
I can hear you now. There you go. Right. So at the moment, this is what people's thoughts are. So just say Delhi 2006, easy LTL, what a cracking win against Brentford. Yes, we've discussed this, Denny. It was a fantastic. Nita says that she believes that it's better to speak out than keep it in. Footballers have feelings too. David Clark. Hi, David. I hope you're well, mate. I saw your message the other day when I posted in the other stream. I'm really sorry to hear that you haven't had the op and stuff like that. It must be so frustrating. But I really do hope that something comes of it sooner rather than later for you, mate, because I know you've been missing this for at least the last couple of years. But David says, if you actually look more closely at last season's Salah's form, you would have seen that in huge parts of games, Salah was poor and ineffective, but had moments in games where he showed class and scored. Chris Peters says that Salah's obviously hurt, but how they have treated him. Nita says that some footballers just show up for the money. I don't think Salah drops in that category. David Clark says, if I'm paying you £350,000 every week, I would sure as hell want more than he's showing on the pitch this season. And then Marianne says also, I don't think he's been as good this season in the few Liverpool games I've seen. Right. So for me, on this, right. I don't know what's happening to Chang. He's in and out. So for me, on this, something. Right. A manager is there to pick the side that he believes that's going to go and win a game. A manager also is with the players and the coaching staff coaching these players week in and week out. And therefore they get to see a lot more than what the fans would see. The fans would only see when they turn up to a game. But I don't know what's happening behind the scenes in the week leading up to the game and in the training sessions. Liverpool look a shadow of the team that they were last season. They've bought and they've spent a lot of money. They've bought a lot of new players in. And yeah, they're going to have to gel and stuff like that. But I think there's two things. I think one of them is the fact that what they've done, right? So for me, this is my personal opinion on Liverpool, right? I think Jota's definitely affected them all. I really do. I think the death of Diego Jota has affected Liverpool Football Club, their players, probably their fans as well, probably the whole community. But it's affected their players. They bought. Okay, so let's look at who they bought. They've bought Milos Kerkez to play at left back, right? Is Milos Kerkez better than Andy Robertson? When they had Robertson playing on the left and they had Trent playing on the right, they had fluidity in the way that they played. There's a way that they played. And,
Has Jose dropped? Wait, let me just see if I'm back on stage. Sorry everybody for this.
I'm still here.
Oh, you're okay. You're still here. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right. So so they brought Milos Kerkez in, and they dropped Andy Robertson. Right. Robertson's come back into the team, and Robertson looks better on the left-hand side than Milos Kerkez. For the right-hand side, they sold Arnold. They sold Arnold, and they bought Jeremy Frimpong, who's now injured. But with Frimpong now injured, they've been playing Slobbersley at right back. So, at the end of the day, you're carving up a team that got you somewhere last season and a team that's been built for a while, carved it up, so you've got them, right? Then you've got the players that play in the three that play in midfield, right? McAllister's nowhere near the player that he was last season at the moment, and he's had injuries in and out. Curtis Jones is in and out of the side. Slobbersley being played out of position. The only staple that they've had is Gravenberch, and Gravenberch is being flogged because he's got no help in what he's doing. The front three, much changed front three. He's got a choice. He plays. Isak has been injured. And Isak. Got to remember, Isak's their major monster buy of the season. Personally, I don't think that Liverpool needed to buy Isak whilst they got because they bought Ekitike already, right? Ekitike came up with 2 goals yesterday. Ekitike is a really, really good footballer. I'm not saying Isak's not, but they didn't have to go and drop another 125 million on Isak. That was just being greedy. But you've got Isak, Ekitike, Gakpo, Salah, Verts. Only 3 of these players can play. And the formula that Liverpool have been playing with has obviously not worked. And, you know, at the end of the day, earning your right to play for me, right, is that you're doing it on the training pitch and then you're doing it in matches. If you're not doing it in training and you're not doing it in matches, then no player has a God-given right to stay in the team, regardless of who you are. You have to play players on form and players that are training correctly and stuff like that. And only Liverpool will know, but if Mo Salah is not training well, if Mo Salah is not producing on the pitch, then of course the manager's well within his rights to substitute him, take him out of the team. You know, at the end of the day, you know, football is what it is. He won't be the first player that's been dropped and he won't be the last. But with him coming out to say this, there's going to be different schools of thoughts, Chad. Some people are going to turn around and say, well, Salah's looking for an exit because he wants to now take the money in Saudi. He got the big bumper paid at Liverpool. Now what's the... Or you've got the other school of thought that would say there is something definitely going on at the club. Are they trying to ease him out? I'm not sure about trying to ease the player out, though, because they put him on a big bumper. They chased him. They chased him to sign a new contract. And they put him on a big bumper contract. I did say at the time, so just to make sure, for clarity purposes, when they were chasing Salah last season to sign him on a new contract, I did say at the time, there's a risk. There's a risk in Salah's age, right, and in getting him to sign that bigger contract at this late stage in his career. If he'd gone on a free somewhere to another club and signed a bumper contract as his last payday type thing, you'd understand. But there was a risk in him signing this big, massive contract. There was a risk to Liverpool because I think it was a 2-year contract he signed. And one of these things is, what if your form drops off in the first few months after you signed your contract? What happens then? Is it money well spent? Is it money badly spent? Who knows? Only Liverpool will know. But there's a lot more that's going on there. Coming out and speaking like this, yeah, I understand what Nita says. Nita says that that he's the type of person that's coming out and he's bearing his soul because he's not after it for the money. That could possibly be right, what Nita's saying. But it doesn't look like, at this present moment in time, the marriage between Liverpool, Arne Slot and Mo Salah will end well. Sorry, dude. Just catch up with a comment before I pass it back to you. For some reason, it hasn't caught back up on the chat. Or has it? Or am I missing something here? No, it hasn't caught back up on the chat. But I can see the chat here. And it says... Rinketic is here. Hi, Rinketic. How are you? Says, hi, boys, but Frimpong is not even a good right back. He's a winger. Jose, Conor Bradley is back now. Yeah, but Conor Bradley's not TTA. David Clark says, Liverpool lost the player in tragic circumstances, then sold their left-hand side strikers, leaving them playing a number 9 on the left wing. Salah ineffective on the right, paid 125 million for Isak. It unbalances. Nita says, Sonny got berated enough by our fans. Sometimes it's better to drop out and go elsewhere to find your form. Maybe it's time for Salah to do that, and Salah is 33. Rinketic is saying that Virgil signed a 2-year contract as well, which was another risk, because Virgil's, 34, 35, whatever now, so it's another risk. Some players will age like a fine wine. So when you look at your Messis and your Ronaldos and players age like a fine wine, some people don't. Some people it just overnight it catches up with them. Has it caught up with Liverpool? I mean, Konate hasn't done brilliantly either, has he? In this season, he's been shocking. Uh, David Clark then says Liverpool's two centre backs, after a great season last time, have been woeful this season. They are usually the rocks in the Liverpool side. These players, sorry, players see them being poor, and it's affecting their games as well. Riketic is saying also happy birthday, Chad. So there you go from Riketic. And it says, my shout is Lewandowski. Lewandowski has aged well. Sorry, Chang. I went on there because somehow I've lost the chat in the back here. But I've had to look on YouTube to see the chat. So, yeah, they were my comments, Chang.
So, what I mentioned earlier, before I was dropped out and before there was a problem with my microphone, I think whatever happens now between Mohamed Salah and Liverpool, it's important not to damage or rather not to smear either one of the good names, whether it's going to be Liverpool Football Club or Mohamed Salah, and that they find an amicable solution to whatever is going on behind the scenes, because we ourselves as bystanders and fans, we are not privy to all the information and details that's going on behind closed doors. So we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. But again, I have to reiterate this before we move on, because we really have to be moving on, as I might only have about 5 minutes left of time, unless you're planning to go on without me, Jose. Uh, whatever whatever is really going on, I really honestly think that Salah should have maybe had more sort of a restraint as to what he said publicly, because it doesn't really paint a good picture for either him or the club. The way he's handling things, the way things are being handled, it might sound like he's downing tools and throwing his toys out the pram, almost being like a spoiled brat. But I think it's a lot more than that. It's a lot more than the way he feels he's being mistreated or even misled by false promises or other promises that were not kept. So let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see how this saga transpires. And who knows? Who knows? Possibly, if this is fixed and addressed sooner rather than later, Liverpool could have an upturn in fortunes when they know that everything that is going on behind the scenes has been handled. But yeah, there has to be a solution sooner rather than later for Salah and Liverpool, because neither of them want to have this drag out and even affect team morale as the season wears on. Having said that, back to you, FA.
Right, let me say good afternoon to Lee Statham, who's just joined us. Lee, I hope you are well. Chang, thank you very much.
Wow, nice bit of applause. That's a first. That's a first. It's very good. Even an air horn to boot. Wow, okay.
Right,
Applause and an air horn. That's interesting. I'm
that,
absolutely looking forward to next Sunday. If it's going to be 10:30, absolutely looking for next Sunday show. Hopefully, we will get a very favorable result on Tuesday night against Slavia Praha. Once again, I have to say a very big thank you to each and every single one who's wished me a happy birthday, regardless if it's today here on this channel or if it was done yesterday over on We Are Tottenham TV. Thank you so very, 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 very much, each and every single one of you. I couldn't have wished for a better birthday weekend. The home win as well as Woolwich losing, and both Liverpool and Chelsea dropping points, with City rightly closing the gap on Woolwich at the top. So let's just wait for next Saturday to come around, and who knows, we might even see two wins in two before we play Forest next weekend. Having said that, thank you so very, very much again, as always, Sino Garcia, for having me back on LTL Cockerel. Enjoy the weekend, everybody, and come on, you Spurs. It's Chang over and out from Southeast Asia.
Chang has spoken.
Where did you get all these sound effects from? It's absolutely. I mean, I would say this. I mean, I'm not going to say anything negative about StreamYard. I have been a big proponent for StreamYard for a good long while, ever since I did this YouTubing. But the production value using this new platform really has gone up a notch. Keep it up, Jose. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Someone's at the door.
Oops,
That's someone's at
someone
the
at the
door.
door. Someone at the door. Okay.
Someone's at
Thank
the
you,
door.
everyone. I got to answer the door now.
Chang,
I've got to answer the door now.
Chang having to leave. Oh no. Sorry, I had that all ready for Chang for today. Listen, everybody, thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with Chang and I today. You've been an absolutely brilliant crowd. Thank you for joining in and putting your comments in. And we will be back. Chang's happy because we're going to be back next Sunday again, and we'll be back the Sunday after. I've set the shows up on this new platform for the next, I think it takes me up to the 28th of December. I will be on annual leave after next week, so I might pop up and do some shows as well. But the planned ones are the usual ones with Chang and the ones that I've done with for the prediction shows and that. But I'd like to thank every single one of you that's watched today. Please hit the like button on your way out, and we shall see you all, or Chang and I will see you all next Sunday. And as always, Chang,
Yes.
you finish off with...
Come, you Spurs.
Thanks, everyone. Come on, you Spurs. Take care.
Tell, Cockerell. He's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. Tell, Cockerell. Leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerell. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerell. Jose gets himself around. Always talking Spurs, wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. Tell, Cockerell. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerell. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. Tell, Cockerell. The show is so chilled, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerell. Goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerell. The show is so chill, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at.